Woody Johnson just did what owners rarely do. He stared the mess in the mirror and named the biggest mirror smudge. At the NFL owners' meetings in Manhattan, he said what a lot of fans have been whispering: the Jets' offense is broken, primarily because the quarterback play is not good enough. And he doubled down supporting Aaron Glenn while making clear the QB question is the team's real crisis. AP News quote straight up, "It's hard when you have a quarterback with the rating that we've got," Johnson told reporters. That's not managerial hedging. That's a blunt assessment of a position that in every sane roster build either makes games winnable or makes them unfixable. The owner praised Glenn's work with the defense and special teams, said he sees the way he handles a room, and insisted he isn't micromanaging personnel choices. But he also made it plain: you can't coach or trade your way out of bad QB play if the passer can't consistently complete throws and move the offense. Sports.yahoo.com. Why this matters right now. The Jets are 0-7 and their offense ranks among the league's worst. Justin Fields was benched at halftime of the Week 7 loss to the Panthers. Tyrod Taylor took over and did not magically fix anything. The cold numbers tell the story. Low yards per game, a passer rating that has undercut drive success, and 22 sacks in 6 games. Those are not coaching problems alone. They're schematic and execution failures wrapped around a quarterback who isn't producing the fundamentals. Johnson's public critique signals ownership's impatience. It also puts the coach in a very tight spot politically and practically. AP News. Let's be clear about what Johnson did and did not do. He defended Glenn personally and professionally, praising his honesty and leadership. "If I were a player, I would respond to him," Johnson said. That's significant. Owners don't throw around that kind of praise lightly when a coach's job might be in play. But Johnson's faith in Glenn comes with a huge asterisk. The owner made the quarterback the proximate cause of the team's collapse. Translation: Glenn gets the leash for now, but the leash is tied to results the QB must help produce. Reuters. So what are the immediate implications? Short list. Expect more quarterback urgency. The team's benching of Fields and brief experiment with Taylor mean the depth chart is now a live conversation. If Taylor gives competent game-managing minutes, the Jets could pivot. If not, you'll hear trade chatter or more aggressive roster moves before the November 4th deadline. Newsday.com. The front office is on the hot seat. When an owner goes public with a diagnosis, the GM's to-do list becomes louder. Add weapons, fix pass protection, consider veteran QB alternatives. That's messy, midseason, and expensive. New York Post locker room optics matter. Johnson publicly hugging Glenn every day, "Keep the faith, man," he said, is theater meant to steady the room. But players hear the QB critique loud and clear. That sort of talk can either focus a team or fracture it, depending on whether stars like Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner side with the coach or the general manager's moves. AP News Now, the hard football truth: you can't win with turnovers, sacks, and a passing game that stalls. Fields brings physical tools, mobility, and arm talent, but the Jets built a roster that needs a quarterback who can fit the plan the coaches want to run. If the QBs aren't completing underneath throws, the run game stalls, third down conversion rates nosedive, and the playbook collapses into predictable punts. That's where Johnson's Football 101 line lands. You need basic competence at QB before you can optimize schematics and hope the defense rescues you. AP News. There's context people often miss. The Jets signed Fields and moved on from Aaron Rodgers earlier in the offseason, a high-variance decision that assumed a quick learning curve for Fields and a stable supporting cast. That gamble required a functioning offense. Without it, the decision looks like a mistake in need of correction. Johnson wouldn't say he regretted letting Rodgers go. "I never look back," he said, but the optics of Rodgers thriving elsewhere complicate the narrative for fans and stakes for the front office. New York Post. What should the Jets actually do from here? Practical steps, ranked. 1. Stop trading around uncertainty. If Fields is the long-term answer, give him controlled reps in low-variance packages, quick do-or-die throws, RPOs that protect him, and designed run lanes that relieve pressure. If he's not the answer, accelerate the search for a bridge QB who stabilizes the offense. 2. Fix protection immediately. 20-plus sacks in 6 games isn't just a QB stat. It's a line and scheme failure. Prioritize pickups and slide protections in the short term. 3. Add reliable weapons or create mismatches schematically. When your passer can't trust timing, you need big play shot schematics that reduce reliance on pocket time. 4. Manage the narrative. Ownership backing the coach is useful. Public blame for the QB is a pressure valve, but the front office must quiet chatter with decisive moves or be ready for louder problems in December. Newsday.com. Finally, the human element. Players, coaches, and staff read headlines. Johnson's remark is equal parts accountability and a warning shot. It's a direct message to fans. Ownership sees the problem and is no longer sugarcoating it. But it's also a message to the locker room. The team's survival and Glenn's security depends on answers at quarterback sooner rather than later. Here's the short version you can tell a friend. The Jets owner just put a public stake in the ground. The coach has the benefit of the doubt for now. But the team's only real path out of 0-7 runs through better quarterback play, and that's now the front office's problem to fix before the trade deadline turns talk into drama. AP News, which way it goes. Decisive roster moves, a quiet quarterback stabilization, or another season of whispers depends on whether the Jets can turn a scolding into surgical action. The clock is ticking. Woody Johnson didn't sugarcoat it. Standing at the NFL meetings, the Jets owner essentially put the offense and by extension the quarterback position on notice. It's hard when you have a quarterback with the rating that we've got. That line landed like a mic drop because it made plain what everyone watching already suspected. This 0-7 skid isn't an abstract coaching problem, it's a quarterback problem that has bled into every part of the roster. Sports.yahoo.com. Johnson defended Aaron Glenn personally. He praised Glenn's honesty, leadership, and connection with the locker room while explicitly stepping back from personnel decisions. That's completely up to the coach, he said about who should play QB. Translation: ownership trusts the coach to pick the timeline and the scapegoats, but the owner also isn't hiding his frustration with production at the position. That public split, backing the coach, blasting the performance, will complicate how moves get made internally. NFL.com, let's call the numbers what they are. Justin Fields' season has been bluntly underwhelming in New York. Roughly 845 passing yards, 4 TDs, 0 interceptions, and a passer rating stuck near the bottom of league charts through 6 starts. He was benched at halftime of the most recent loss, a 13-6 defeat to Carolina, and Tyrod Taylor finished the game. That sequence crystallized the problem. Fields isn't just inconsistent on a game-to-game basis. He's failing to move the offense in meaningful stretches. NFL.com, where does responsibility lie? Everywhere. A quarterback's flaws are rarely just the quarterback's fault. Protection, play design, weapons, and coaching all matter. But the position is also the ultimate amplifier. If the QB fails to complete enough throws, the run game stalls, play action dies, and the entire offense looks listless. Woody's complete a pass quip wasn't elegant, but nails the plain truth. When the offense can't sustain drives, the defense, special teams, and coaching look worse by association. That's a reputation sink that's hard to climb out of without change. New York. Expect action and expect chaos. Owners talking publicly about quarterbacks accelerates timelines. The team is reportedly weighing its options, and there's real talk about whether Fields returns as the starter or Taylor rides the hot hand. Personnel strategy also becomes urgent. Does the front office chase a quick bandage at the trade deadline? Do they reallocate resources to the offensive line or receivers? For a franchise with a long playoff drought, impatience is now the dominant emotion. Reuters, 2 practical risks follow from Johnson's comments. 1, it puts the coach in a tighter box. Glenn gets public backing, but every loss now looks like an ownership failure to execute. 2, it telegraphs to the rest of the league that the Jets are willing to make a quick pivot at quarterback if a better option appears. That can pressure negotiating partners and chip away at internal stability. Players hear the rumble, and locker room focus can fray. New York, if you're the Jets front office, the checklist is surgical. Fix pass protection and quicken the quarterback-friendly reads, clean up situational play calling, and decide whether Fields is the long-term answer or a costly experiment in an already fragile season. If you're Justin Fields, the mandate is equally simple and brutally public. Play cleaner, command the pocket, and deliver a string of drives where the offense looks like it belongs on the field. If you can't do that soon, the team will act. NewYorkJets.com. Bottom line, Woody Johnson's remarks move this from rumor to reality. The owner isn't pulling the coach yet. He's still hugging Glenn and telling him to keep the faith. But he also made clear where the blame sits for a 0-7 record. That kind of public calculus flips internal timelines and forces urgency. The Jets can survive one more ownership-tinged soundbite if results change fast. If they don't, expect the quarterback and the roster to be in for a very public offseason reckoning. Sports.yahoo.com.